No.
Honestly, I just need a big vacation again where my family's not around.
What, you can play like P5 like you did with P5?
When I did with P5 and I did with my Platinum Horizon. Like, just full, uninterrupted, at my TV for like 12 hours.
Let me pop in here real quick. This is episode 242 of Prof and Dev Play Games. We're just going to start in media res. We are talking. We got Anthony and we have Travis here, and we're just going to go right into it. So we're talking games. So please continue.
So I just need I need that break. I would have probably, without the COVID stuff, I would have had that break last week. They were going to go out of town to Cannon Beach in Oregon for like 4 days.
Need to carve out
during the day, and then I would have finished my work day.
Let's see.
And played games until like 2 or 3.
When's Father's Day? That's the 17th?
It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
No?
I've given.
Oh,
no one's traveling anywhere.
No. You just carve it out like a whole day. Like, I'm downstairs. See ya.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's hard to take the PS4. Other people claim that in the house. Other people claim my consoles now.
Wait, but Stardew Valley is not on that. And
Minecraft is.
Oh, fucking Minecraft. That's right.
My son is so into Minecraft again. It's not even funny.
All right, so Minecraft, and then
I guess he never completely dropped out of it. But yeah, he does. That's how he stays in contact with his friends. They play Minecraft together.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mine are not old enough to claim any of my systems yet. So
enjoy it.
My daughter has claimed my Wii U, and she's almost 3. We have been reenacting, seriously, like play acting The Wind Waker every moment of every day for the past 2 weeks. She is obsessed.
I mean, not a bad game to be addicted to, but
could be worse.
It could be way worse. It's funny though, because like we play, she'll ask to play a bunch of different games, but none of them are story based. So she's kind of like 10 minutes, and she's like, that's cool, whatever, move on to something else. But fucking Wind Waker, she'll sit there for like as long as I let her, watching. What's Link doing? Where's he going? Where's Baby Link going? Which is what she calls Toon Link. Baby Link. Where's Baby Link going? You gotta beat the pirates to the island. Oh man.
Yeah, I've kept my son away from games right now, which is kind of odd considering the fact that they're such a huge part of my life in general. But yeah,
I do it. I feel like I'm the dick parent a lot of times, because my son's friends, they're playing a lot of games during this time.
Oh yeah,
and my kids still get their allotted screen time, and tends to not be as long. And we haven't got it complete. My son hasn't pulled out but so and so is playing for 5 hours. I'm like, please don't.
Right.
I know it's a huge part of my life. I make these things, but I'm like, nah.
Well, with my daughter, so before this shit, right? Screen time was half an hour on Saturday, and we were militant about it. And then as this started, we did a little bit more here and there, and it was kind of all over the place for her. She didn't really know what the rules were, so we finally just set it half an hour before nap, half an hour after nap. So if you have a game before nap, it's a movie or a show, or Llama Llama or Daniel Tiger or whatever. But if you do a game in the morning, we don't do a game in the afternoon. So she either does Wind Waker or Just Dance for her half an hour game a day, and then half an hour of show a day is usually Doc McStuffins actually right now. And that's it.
Wait, Doc McStuffins is actually a real thing?
Oh yeah, dude, Doc McStuffins is, except for the fact that it's like the color, the gendered color stuff, it's all pink and purple. Other than that, she's like a doctor, and it's a really good show.
The only reason why I bring that up is because I binge Park and Rec in the background
fucking
whenever I'm
show,
working,
man.
and that episode just came on where Ron Swanson was like Doc McStuffins. I was like, oh, that's gotta be a made up thing. So then you mentioned it, I'm like, oh wait, that's legit? That's
no, it's real? Yeah, it's really good. It's an African American girl who is a doctor, and her mom's a doctor, her dad stays at home. Is a stay-at-home dad, and it's just make believe with stuffed animals. My daughter fucking loves it.
The amount of stuff that's real in that show is just starting to has blown my mind over the
Wait, Parks and Rec, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh god, that show's amazing.
I mean, Nick offered. I mean, I knew he already was a real woodworker, but then to find out that he legitimately plays the saxophone too, and all this other stuff, I'm like, oh my god. Anyways.
And as a fan of Lagavulin, yeah, dude, that's the best show of all time. Once you get past season 2.
No.
Yes, once you get into, is it past season 2 or into season 2?
It's like halfway through season 2 when Rob Lowe and
I mean, we've
Adam
talked about
Scott
this
come in.
before. I only watched the first half of the first season when it
God.
originally aired,
Yeah.
and I was like, "What the hell is this?
Nah.
This is not great."
Dislike season 1. I enjoy it, but it does get much better when Rob Lowe and the other
Adam
guy,
Scott.
Adam Scott, get into it. Then it gets way better.
It's okay. The first season is okay. Mark Brandanowitz is fucking annoying to me, but
Yeah, I didn't mind it as much, but I mean, there's other shows that people have been trying to get me to watch, and this COVID thing has got me having them on. Like I've been almost through season 2 of The Office, and I'm done. I just can't watch that show. I don't like it.
but wait, you've never watched Parks and Rec? This is your first time with Parks and Rec?
No, I've been watching Parks and Rec for the past year.
Oh, okay.
Like I didn't start watching Parks and Rec until a year ago, January, essentially.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of binged it, and then it was just this ongoing. It's in the background. It's kind of what I just have for background noise since I'm working from home all the time. But with everything else, people are like, oh, Parks and Rec good, but The Office is better. And
No, it's not.
And I can't. I'm sitting going, no, dude. I'm almost done with season 2.
I think The Office is. I wouldn't say even better. There are some really good episodes of The Office, and a pretty fair amount of them. But it's not a show I would ever binge watch through a lot of. I would just go specifically pick out certain episodes and be like, I want to watch that one.
Oh man, Peace Corps, like that's all we did was binge watch The Office. Like we loved it up until Pam and Jim get together. Then we're like, yeah, okay, we're good.
Yeah, no, I can't do it.
And then when Steve Carell left, it was like, this is not a good show anymore.
I don't think it was going to lose anything by him leaving. Maybe it gets better. I don't know. I love Steve Carell. He's a great actor, and he does a lot of good things. Like the Space Force show coming up on Netflix.
Yeah,
I'm totally down to watch that. That looks awesome. But for some reason in The Office, I don't know. I can't do it. Anyways.
Well, welcome to the TV series podcast.
Seriously, totally not. Like the whole point of this, I thought, was to talk about God of War, and we've gone totally off of that.
Welcome to the show. Yeah. We go off the rails all the time. This is a Palindrome show, 242. We're here to talk about what the fuck happened with the Xbox 2020 showcase this week.
Good. I'm not the only one who had. I did not give any of you my reaction to it or how I felt about it, but clearly we may have had similar reactions.
Well, just because when you texted me, you said, I am looking forward to talking about, or whatever you said, like sharing my opinions. I was like, oh, he didn't like it either. And I know Travis didn't, so we'll have some fun with that. I know people did or whatever. We'll get into that. And then we're going to talk God of War because I am so balls deep in that game and it's amazing. And Travis is as well. So we're going to talk about how balls deep we are in that game. And hopefully get Anthony to get balls deep one day too. Okay. I just want to say balls deep as many times as I can.
I was like, could you keep throwing that one out there just a few more times?
And then we'll talk about what other things we're playing. So why don't we start with Xbox's showcase, which they brought a lot of third-party thunder and a lot of.
Is it really a lot?
Did they really?
I put air quotes. I should have said that, quote unquote.
How many games did they show for one?
Let's see. I have a list here. It's Bright Memory Infinite, Dirt 5, Scorn, Chorus, Madden 21, Vampire the Masquerade 2, Call of the Sea, Ascent. We'll go back through these, but The Medium, Scarlet Nexus, Second Extinction, Yakuza, Like a Dragon, and then Valhalla. So that's like 10.
So the thing, like, you're listing all that, I'm like, oh yeah, they did show all that, and I completely forgotten about most of them.
And I would argue that Madden they didn't even really show.
Yeah, I mean,
it was like a showcase of like previous Maddens.
Let's see. I would argue they didn't even show Valhalla.
No, so would the internet. The whole internet is on your side.
Let's go down the real path. I'd argue that they pretty much didn't show anything except for cinematic cutscenes for the most part.
Yeah.
When they advertised that they were going to
gameplay,
exactly
like actual gameplay. No, dude, that was not gameplay. So Microsoft is doing the same thing they did with the freaking Xbox One, which is totally effing up the entire announcement, everything about it. And they're opening the door for Sony just to pounce on them, just like they did 7 years ago.
I think it is true to go first like this and to not really hit it out the park gives Sony such an opportunity.
I'm really surprised on the third parties they chose to show here. I mean, all this stuff, timing-wise, all these companies were probably planning this since end of last year to be shown. My only thought is they're splitting this up in a weird way, because I was also like, okay, if this was, say, E3 was happening, or they're doing around then, you would have all these third-party games mixed in with their big first-party games.
Right.
Like they should be showing Halo. Whatever other first-party. Well, they have a bunch of dev studios doing stuff on it now. So they would be... You wouldn't be trying to, like, hold up an entire announcement day thing with only these third-party games.
Well, a lot of the games that I mentioned, a lot of them we don't know. A couple of them have been on other, Yakuza was on a different, I think PS4, or at least on PC. But I'm with you because I think the person who led this was Damon Baker, who I like, but there was no Phil Spencer, right? There was Aaron Greenberg at the beginning, but the heavy hitter in terms of Xbox isn't there, which means they're definitely going to split this up. And I think they did a disservice because if you look at those E3 presentations for Sony or Microsoft or whatever, there's some stuff and some bangers, and then the bangers, like, that's what everyone talks about, and they're like, oh, that other stuff was okay, but this is it. And then this had no bangers. Like, it was supposed to be Valhalla.
Were they trying to think that Valhalla was going to be the big banger at the end? But then
I think so.
What did you show?
Right. They showed
nothing.
Right. And I was looking
engine cutscene.
In engine, yes.
Yeah. That's as much as you get, but I'm like, I can't discern gameplay. And then of course all their teleconferenced bookends to all the stuff was clearly recorded outside of the footage that they were showing.
Yeah.
On top of that, with Valhalla, dude, I'm sorry, Ubisoft already popped that bubble a few days earlier with their trailer. Yeah, so, I mean, including what little bit that they put in Microsoft, it was like, who cares? And the thing that caught me off guard about the whole thing was the inclusion of the Bright Memory Infinite. And the reason why, because I know about that one from Steam, and the fact that it was Bright Memory, it was supposed to be this other game, and then now it's turned into this big... going from this little indie thing into a AAA game, and it piqued my interest when it was just this little indie game, and now everyone's just trying to cram it down our throats already, and I'm sort of going, no.
My little story with Bright Infinite, and I have heard it, is that was I think it's all been taken care of now. So I tried to do research before this, but when it originally launched on Steam, it was using straight up stolen assets.
Oh shit.
Yes.
I mean, this is a thing with, I dealt with it years ago, whenever we had a development team at PopCap in China and the whole thing. And there was definitely a thing of being like, why can't we just use those assets? And we're like, no, you can't. Like, there was just this, and so this guy, the single dev just straight up took models from, one of the games was Colonial Marines. Alien Colonial Marine.
Seriously?
Yeah, I just took the 3D assets from that, and he launched it on Steam that way.
Yeah,
I don't think they're in there anymore, because I would have a hard time believing Microsoft would put it at the front of their thing if they still existed. Yeah, if they did the research. But that has always made me been like, I know the devs been very apologetic and the whole thing, and sees that it's a wrong thing to do now, but I'm still like, you got to be kidding me. Like, you don't go and take models from other games, don't credit where you're getting them from, and then make money off them. That's just not a good thing. So, yeah.
The fun fact is most consumers don't know the difference.
They don't know it.
And
they won't, and that's what kills me.
Well, this is not really related, but my students from China who do plagiarize in their work, a lot of it is cultural in that you're showing deference to some other, like I'm showing deference to them because I couldn't possibly know that. It's like, well, we have to teach them those things about plagiarism. They're not making money off their essays though.
Yeah, I mean, but we also had the similar thing. It was a very cultural thing of like, why is this a big deal? And we're like, so, in your culture, not such a big deal. Putting a game out for public consumption and in the U.S. and other parts of the world, gonna be a big deal.
Big deal. I will say though, that I didn't know anything about this game. Yeah. To have it open up, it's like looks like a first-person shooter. Then all of a sudden they're shooting like knights with swords, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I don't think I've seen that very often. I'm not sure how that works in practice. I know I just saw Travis logged on to Steam. Did you actually buy this game when it was early access?
I almost did when it was $6. Almost.
Because I want to know how it plays or what that feels like.
I played the demo of it, and it's a weird hybrid of what's the best way to put it? Destiny and Souls and then what is that? I'm drawing a blank on the name of that game. Titanfall.
Yeah, right.
It has the movement. If you've ever played Titanfall, like the wall running and jumping and all that other fun jazz. But then it kind of has a gunplay feel similar to Destiny, but then it also has kind of some melee and RPG aspects to it that you would find in like a Dark Souls type game. It's a really weird combination. And if I know that they had the rough patch there at the very beginning with the stolen assets, because I actually paid attention to that when it came out. But at the same time, now that they have the funding, if they actually can get this to work together, it'll be really interesting to see. But when you're trying to combine those three genres together, you're dancing a very, very fine line.
I'm wondering if you can go back and give us that description again, but somehow work in the phrase balls deep. Balls deep in Titanfall.
No.
It sounds like someone went to the... and if they get it to work, that's great. But it reminds me of having the whiteboard of like all the game genre buzzwords. Totally. I used to have that, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to pitch a new game that is an open world, survival, crafting, roguelike. Right? RPG there we go. That would be a good game, right?
Man, roguelike hung out on that. Procedurally generated, yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Roguelike held out on that whiteboard for way too long, by the way.
Oh, it's still on that whiteboard.
It's still there.
That's what I'm saying. It's just a little too long, guys.
I'm waiting for Bright Memory to call itself a roguelike at some point. Like, guess what? It's a roguelike game.
Or they'll try and twist it and say it's not roguelike, it's a Metrovania style.
Oh, there you go.
That's the other version of it that they like to throw out nowadays. Every time I see that buzzword Metrovania, I'm like, come on, dude. Like, don't get me wrong, the old school Metroid was fun, but it's not the only game that was like that. I got a newsflash for you. Almost all NES games were like that. Because that was the only option you could do, was side-scrolling for the most part. So why are you guys so surprised that it...
Yeah, it's just that shorthand for, like, finding an ability upgrade to, like, move forward. Like, what was it? Fucking Jedi Fallen Order, right? They called that, like, a somewhat Metroidvania because you had to get the abilities to unlock new places. So I guess that makes sense as shorthand, but... I see your point, though. Like, it's all over the place, right?
Back in the day, Kid Icarus was the same way.
You played that game?
Yeah, dude, come on, man. There weren't that many options back in the day. You got your hands on what you get your hands on.
I know. You played Legend of Zelda, like, what, 20 times?
I can still beat the original Legend of Zelda from the NES from memory, getting everything. I don't know how or why, but I know where all the doors are still to this day.
It's such a weird thing in that game, going back to that, playing those games so much, and you're just like, I know something's here. I don't know why I know something's here. But I bet if I burn this bush, still remember that. Why? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I went back and played the second, but not second, the Link. The side-scrolling one that
I hated. Damn.
And you know what? As an adult, going back and playing that, I actually enjoy that game now.
It's better with save states, man, on the Switch. That makes it a little more bearable.
Maybe that's what it is. I don't really remember back. I just remember when I was little and playing it, I hated that game. I was like, this is a garbage game. And then everyone dumped it off as like, oh, that's not part of the trilogy or the set or whatever you want to call it. It's not part of the same universe. And now everyone's like, oh, yeah, it is now.
Now our audience understands how much we like the Xbox showcase. We'd rather talk about Zelda 2.
Yeah, seriously. No,
well, I don't know. Like, none of the games, there were new ones, none of them directly stood out to me. There was the one that I thought was an Aliens game because it was all very much H.R. Geiger.
Right.
I was like, cool, is this an Alien game?
Scorn, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, no, never mind. It's just something very much inspired by H.R. Geiger. Or,
if that.
Yeah, I just don't. No, like the trailer I enjoyed the most was Bloodlines 2.
Yeah, I was about to ask you about. I'm sure that you like that one.
I was like that. Okay.
That was the first one that really got me. It got me super excited. I was like, this is great. And it showed that it was Bloodlines 2. I was like, okay, this is already an established game. Never mind.
Exactly.
I thought it was something brand new. I was like, this looks really cool. Nope. Okay. I don't know. I was just sitting through it all, just knowing Valhalla was coming at the end. I was stoked, and when I got to Valhalla, I was like, what the fuck?
You're like, this is it?
Oh, I was so mad.
No, that was the whole problem. Is that was what they were hanging their hat on, and then they gave us nothing. So they give us nothing up until this, because the only other thing that they might have been able to hang their hat on was Madden. And would they give us that 3 seconds of actual new Madden footage? Everything else was just what's been going on since the 90s.
Right.
Got news flash for you. I don't give a crap. I mean, I don't care about Madden to begin with because I don't play sports games. They've just gotten way too complicated for me, amazingly.
Come on, Travis. It's not about what you can see. It's about what you can feel.
Oh, my God. The point is if you're going to showcase a game, showcase the game. Don't showcase the past 30 years of the game. I don't give a crap what happened in 92 on this game. Like, if you're going to announce a new Zelda game, you're not going to sit there and show me the original Zelda and then link to the past and all other stuff.
I think you will. I think you will if you show the new one, and they didn't do that. Like, here's all the old stuff, and it pays off by showing the new one. And they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
This just goes back to what I texted you earlier today when we brought up this whole thing. I go, Microsoft hasn't figured this out. Like, Nintendo would have shown, if they were running this, they would have shown, if they were going to show historical stuff, they would have shown the 30 years of Zelda, but then they would have given us at least 30 to 40 seconds of the new one.
Yeah, right.
True. They would, yep.
And if this was Sony, they would have hung their hat on their exclusives. Pure and simple.
Yeah.
Like, if they're going to show anything from a third party, it's going to be a third party exclusive. Not, hey, Bloodlines, guess what? Everyone else has it. Hey, Madden, guess what? Everyone else has it.
Yeah.
Literally everything that Microsoft showed us, everyone else is going to have it.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. If you're going to have this, if you're going to showcase, show us what you have and no one else does. Microsoft spent the last 5 years buying up studios. What the hell are they doing?
I think it was. I think they have a big thing planned coming forward, and whatever the version of this looks like, where it's the first party games, is gonna, I think, blow us away. But it wasn't here, and this is the first step out the gate. It was just such a stumble.
Well, yeah.
This is, as I said earlier, it's the same thing that they did 7 years ago with the Xbox One. Like, all the things they announced it. Everyone lost their crap. Always have to be online. You don't actually own your games. Blah, 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 blah. Sony went out and just slapped them 2 days later. Like, hey, you want to borrow a game? This is how you lend a game to your friend. And they had a commercial where the guy literally hands the disc to the guy next to him. Like, that was the freaking commercial, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
And what's Sony going to do with this one? Hey, that's great. You showed all this stuff. Here's our first party games.
Yeah.
Good luck catching up to this, Microsoft.
Here's Horizon 2. Because I'm seeing some more rumors that is actually going to be a launch.
Oh
launch
God,
title.
that'd be great.
That they held it off. They held off the sequel from the PS4.
If they did, that's smarter than them. I still need to. That's another game I need to go back and finish, for crying out loud.
Horizon?
Yeah, I never.
Oh my God.
I never finished Horizon Zero Dawn.
Thank you, Christ. There's somebody who still hasn't finished the game longer than me.
Oh, I didn't own it up until I bought it a little over a year ago.
Oh, God damn it. Thanks. Okay, that takes it all away now.
Sorry.
My excitement just drained out of my body.
I think I bought it a year ago, December, because I for whatever reason, I know what it was. It was back when it was still Breath of the Wild, but it was just Destiny, dude. Destiny ate up so much of my time for so long.
Right.
It was my new World of Warcraft. Why would I spend money on something else when I've already got this? Yeah, we're not going to go down that path. But so I skipped it. I mean, just like the most recent Star Wars, I haven't bought that one yet because I know I don't have the time to actually dedicate to beating it.
Well, you got kids or something?
Well, I've got kids and a job and all this other fun jazz, and I have freaking archive of games that I've never even opened. For crying out loud, I bought all the Xenogears, the Xenosaga, and I think I played the first one halfway through. 2 and 3. I never even opened the damn cases.
Oh, don't lie! You didn't play. You played for maybe 2 hours. And
okay, I'm sorry.
Movies for
yeah, that's true. I played. I have like 10 hours of
game.
10 hours on that game, and To Anthony's point, yeah, I forgot. The first 3 hours was just watching a damn movie. Like literally, you move 5 seconds of movement. Okay, here's the cutscene that's 30 minutes long. What?
God.
Oh man.
And that's probably why I never continued playing that game, and B, even though I was like, oh, I love Xenogears, so I was like, yeah, it's not the same, but it's still in the same world, so I need to play these. Eventually, I'll get this 2 and 3, and no. But yeah, so no, I have not beaten the Horizon yet, and that's part of the reason why I've gone back to God of War now, is because I need to actually beat some of these games I have. The Marvel Spider-Man, I got halfway through that and still haven't beaten that one. I need to go back and do that as well.
This is a good segue. We'll move over here because I'm doing the same thing. The most recent game that I bought was Final Fantasy VII Remake, which I didn't open because I sat down and plowed through, finished Horizon, and then asked my friend Brad and what should I play next? And he said, God of War, goddammit, go back to that game. So I decided just to commit to my backlog. And then after this one, I'm going to go to Spider-Man because I got halfway through it and put it down. Same thing, man. We're going to follow each other.
I didn't even buy Final Fantasy VII Remake. And
how is that possible?
Right? You can ask Anthony. I remember borrowing that game the original from him before he even beat the game. And I beat the game at his house on my save because I don't remember why I was over there playing it at your house, but I was over there, and that's where we beat Final Fantasy VII. And I found out the hard way that, oh, by the way, those other 3 characters that you've been ignoring for the past
they aren't leveled up.
hours, they legitimately need to do something now.
Oh man, I remember going to your house, Travis, and watching you play that game and just being bored on my skull. Like I don't understand what's happening.
There was that. And then you also got bored out of your school while I was beating Metal Gear Solid on that really bad day senior year.
No, I was not bored. I was like, I'm here for you emotionally, man. Oh, I'm just going to sit and watch you play this game? What the fuck? Why did I skip school for this?
Because it was better than being at school?
I don't know if it was, man. But yeah, we've gone back to our backlog, and we're like, I don't know if you started that game before. I started it and played probably 2 or 3 hours and then put it down 2 years ago. And then coming back to it, it's just like, it's a fucking revelation. This game is incredible. Like the combat is just super engaging. The story and the side quests are all like, it's easy to just like get lost and not, you can't put it down because there's no fade to black, right? It just moves on to the next thing and the next thing.
So I had started playing it when I first got it 2 years ago. And I'd gotten to the point where the other night where you texted me like, where are you at? And I had told you I'd just beaten the Dark Elf boss.
Yeah.
I had gotten a little bit further. I had not story-wise, I hadn't progressed any much further. I had spent a lot of time around the Lake of Nine doing side quests and stuff.
Yep.
And that's where I had stopped. And then I came back to it, I want to say like a week ago, maybe a week ago. And I was set there go, I'm starting over from scratch. Mm-hmm. Because I've forgotten all the muscle memory on how to do different things, and I would rather just work my way back up to it as opposed to jumping in right into it and getting my ass handed to me until I figure it out.
Brad is clapping at the podcast right now because he keeps telling me to do that, and I refuse. I'm not wasting that time.
That's the way. That's part of the reason why I don't like going back to my backlog, because I still have to go back to Spider-Man, to Horizon Zero Dawn. I've actually did Horizon Zero Dawn once, got to the really big city, stopped, picked it up again 6 months ago, got back to the main city, stopped. Guess what I'm going to do the next time when I have to pick it up? Start that shit all over again.
No, see, that's why you don't do it. God.
But then I forget parts of the story if I don't. And so
I forgot the fucking story, though. I was talking to Anthony on this podcast every week about Horizon Zero Dawn, how I didn't fucking understand the story until at one point it finally clicked, and I thought, if I would have redone this from the beginning, I would have got this much earlier. So I understand, yeah, totally.
So, for example, with God of War, if I had jumped in right back where I was, I don't know if the impact of what happens to his son would have had as much of an impact. Because I texted you that when that happened, I was like, dude, I don't think this would have had as much of an impact on me if I wasn't a father. Because that whole thing, I'm sitting there, I'm almost becoming Kratos in that situation. I'm like, this is really weird that I'm really, really identifying with this character. Because usually I sit there and most most characters in the game, like going, yeah, I get where you're coming from. That's cool. I understand your. No, this was flat out. I am like, holy crap! I feel my heart and my chest like tightening up when I see his son. I'm like going, oh my god, I got to do something to save this kid. I'm like, this isn't even my son. What the hell?
Yeah, I mean, that's just the power of the storytelling in that game is just super. You're just right there, and you feel really connected to him. I would, venture to guess that folks without kids probably felt similar, but it does, take it up a notch when you do have your own kid.
But I mean, I've played all the other God of Wars, and there's a story there, but not. I don't know.
I mean, I played enough, like, not a ton of the 2018 God of War, but it was already clear that like the storytelling was magnitudes better than the storytelling in the previous games. It actually was memorable and affecting, which is why I had a hard time playing it, because it really affected me just being in that game and in that environment and not having the camera cut away. Like, I mentally felt it.
I feel like it's the difference between character-driven and plot-driven stories. Like this 2018 one is fucking character-driven completely. I mean, obviously the plot is bring the ashes to the top of the mountain. Everything else is like character development, And from what I played of God of War 3, it's definitely very much like plot-driven. Like get to the next god and smash them.
Oh yeah. Get to the next set piece thing. Yeah. Like they're just big action set pieces, which are fun.
It was great. Yeah.
I had a blast, but none of them stuck with me really.
Right. If you asked me to tell you what the stories were from God of War 1, 2, or 3, I'd be like, angry dude, kill gods.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, and you're not wrong. That's all you need to know.
And in all honesty, I look back on each one of all three of those. I enjoyed them. But by the third one, I'm sitting there going, dude, this is literally the first one, just with some better graphics and a few different skills that weren't there before. And they kept relying on that quick time event where you're like, hit the triangle now, hit the square here, and by the time it got to the point where you're halfway through the game, you're like, dude, stop. Like, I've done this so many times, just stop, please stop. And I was afraid that when I went back to this God of War that they were going to include it, because there's a couple times where it's like, oh, hold the circle button, okay, and I'm waiting for the next command of like, oh, hit this button. Nope, just hold this button down. Okay, and I'm getting a little tired of that, even because I'm at this point. It's like, if I'm just holding a button down for 5 seconds, why even bother doing it? Why don't you just do it for me? But at least I don't have to sit there and be like, circle, square, X, circle, X, and, oh, I hit the wrong button, start over again type crap. So I applaud the studio for taking something that was good and making it great.
Yeah, like I'm like 2/3 of the way through the game. I don't know how it's going to be at the end, but maybe my favorite Sony exclusive.
Nope.
Like I feel like I'm getting to that point where I feel like I'm going to say that by the end of this.
I guarantee you I will not. My Sony exclusive is set in stone, at least in this generation, and it's 100%. Don't get me wrong.
Bloodborne.
Yeah, it's Bloodborne 100%.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's no... Come on, From announced Bloodborne 2 for PS5.
Yeah, like...
I would sell systems, for sure.
That would sell systems.
Oh, dude. Anybody who's a Souls fan, gone. Game over. Done. I mean, Bloodborne took the Dark Souls idea, took it to another level, took it to another place that Souls just couldn't go, and then put it in a world that was just so... something that was unique that we haven't really seen. I mean, it's been done, but not to that level. Yeah. But don't get me wrong, God of War is a great movie, great game. Holy crap! And it's up there. I love this game, and it's gonna probably be easily top 10, if not top 5 for PlayStation.
Yeah. I mean, they have a ton of great ones, man. Some of the Uncharted's were amazing. I think Uncharted 2 is maybe my favorite. All of 4 was great too. Last of Us. 4. You didn't play 4?
4's good.
4 is good.
I got it for free off of the PlayStation.
4 is definitely better than 3 and 1. I think go with 1. I think 2, 4, 1, 3 are my...
Oh God, you put 1 over 3?
I don't think...
I wasn't a huge fan of 3 overall.
Oh, wow.
Like, it was fine. It felt really disjointed. It was my problem.
Yeah.
Like, the story just didn't flow, and maybe it's the come down from 2 was so much. I had high expectations off of 2.
I played them all right in a row. I went 1, 2. I didn't finish 1 because it was so boring to me. 2, 3, and 4 just right in a row, and then Lost Legacy. I liked 3, but I would put it 2, 4, Lost Legacy, 3, and then 1.
Yeah.
I don't think I played anything after 1 because 1 is where I think it jumped the. I literally said, if zombies come out of this game jumped the shark, and I quit. And I think that was 1 where at one point, basically the zombie things came at me, and I literally sat there, threw the controller on the ground, got up and walked away. And Carmen looked at me and goes, "What's going on?" I go, "Dude, the game just jumped the damn shark. I'm done."
I feel like I stopped at that same spot. Like I just couldn't.
Yeah, the ending wasn't strong, like the way it ended up. I will always say Uncharted 2 was amazing though.
It's amazing, dude. You have to try it. Did you get the collection when it was free?
Yeah,
recently?
I got the collection and the fourth one when it was free.
2 is amazing.
Amazing. Unbelievably amazing.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the first one up until it jumped the shark,
Zombies.
and I'm sitting there going, dude, seriously, did you
That's
have to
zombies
shut
suck.
That was back when Resident Evil was getting a huge. Was it Resident Evil? I'm trying to remember what.
I don't know what.
But there was a huge push for zombie games were coming out in droves.
There was a lot of games then.
And I'm sitting there going, come on, dude, can't we just have a game where we don't have to have zombies? And and then I heard you mention Last of Us, and we're not going to go down that path.
Dude, the Last of Us is crazy because like the zombies, the gameplay, the story is fucking killer, but that's like not enough to propel you through that game. Although I'm kind of anxiously awaiting Last of Us 2.
Even with all the drama coming up with it right now?
I purposely have not paid attention to it. I've heard like one weird spoiler that was like, that's weird. If that's true, that's bizarre, but whatever. But no, the drama doesn't do much for me. I'm still pretty stoked for that one. Although I think I'm probably more excited for Ghost of Tsushima, which is kind of telling considering I don't know much about that game other than it looks gorgeous.
I mean,
it's gonna make my
I really
PS4
thought I started getting more excited about that one only because I'm like, oh right, it's Sucker Punch. I've enjoyed the last few things Sucker Punch has made, and now they're gonna be the Infamous series.
Oh, okay.
And like the Infamous series has consistently gotten better each time, which is I always appreciate a dev that continues to refine and improve. So it gives me a very high hopes for Ghost of Tsushima of them being like, okay, we're going to apply what we've learned to a completely new setting, a samurai setting, which sounds badass, and just let us have some fun.
I didn't like Second Son very much. It felt very repetitive to me, which is interesting because when I played the DLC Last Light or First Light or whatever it was with the
First Light was fun.
It was great because I liked it so much, and I finished it because it was shorter. Like I feel like Second Son just kind of. I know you get new abilities and upgrades and shit like that, and that's kind of like the new thing. But everything else was the same, like destroying the part of the city and freeing it from whatever the bad guy was.
Yeah.
But I don't know if like because it was Seattle, did that give it like an edge for you, or just you liked the game no matter?
A little bit. I mean, I didn't get hugely far into Second. So weirdly, Second Son had the problem of like, oh, I'm enjoying this, but it's fake Seattle.
Yeah.
Which made it hard to play sometimes because it would pull me out. I'd be like, that neighborhood's not next to that neighborhood. What are you talking about? I should be able to go from here to here and be where I want it. Nope. Okay. Fake Seattle. Have to forget. And it's not like they chose poorly in doing that. They had to shrink it and change things around a little bit. But that actually has me worried for Last of Us 2 because that's going to be fake Seattle again. Of some sort, and there was another fake Seattle. Oh, yeah. Bloodlines 2. Depending on how they choose to do that. I've talked to, really, I work with a dev that worked on it. Started around the same time. Worked on 2? Yeah, he worked.
Oh wow.
He left to come to System Era, and he was saying like, you see a lot of stuff. I'm asking him like, oh, it looks like there's a lot of stuff at Pioneer Square there, and he's like, yeah, that's the like. Probably the biggest map of the game, the most consistent one you'll come back and forth to. And he said like they spent a lot of time walking around Pioneer Square, like trying to make it match up and look right where they could without getting into legal issues. So I have high hopes that it will at least be the like look like the right neighborhood and stuff. So
here's a question for you, Anthony, from a dev perspective. What is the draw to trying to set a game in a legitimate city? Wouldn't it be? I mean, is it easier?
That's just the lore, I think, coming from there. For Vampire, it's just because Vampire takes place, like the White Wolf stuff all just takes place in the real world. So they're just like, yep, we're not going to make any new thing up. We're going to live with that. But like, I don't. In some ways, like I think like Second Son and stuff and like that stuff, they're just like, we want to ground it in the real world. Maybe like each studio is going to have a different reason why. Sucker Punch is based in Seattle as well, so it's their backyard. They're like, if we're going to do something in the real world, we're going to use the city we know.
Yeah, but sometimes I get the feeling that you can ground it in the real world without putting a real world place in it. Like, it's all on how you present, at least from a consumer's perspective. I can be grounded in the real world by the way you present the world around me. Like, if you present a normal city to me and it follows the normal physics and normal activity that I would see in an everyday city, to me, you've just grounded it. I don't need to see the Golden Gate Bridge, for example, and say it's in San Francisco. I don't need to see, the Space Needle or something in Seattle for it to ground me back to the world. So that's why I was just kind of curious. Is there some?
No, probably each storyteller has a reason why they want to do that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I feel like on the flip side, you get the Grand Theft Auto, right, where it's like supposed to be Los Angeles, but it's not, and you kind of just keep piecing LA over top of Los Santos or whatever.
Yeah, I mean GTA's are, that's their main thing. Choose a city, make it fake. Don't call it the actual city, which is fine. It actually works out really well.
It does, but I feel like you still spend your time layering over what you know of the city over theirs.
Yeah, I guess since I don't spend any time in the cities that usually show up, it doesn't really affect me that much. Even when I see San Francisco in there, I'm sitting going, I don't like San Francisco enough to even care to know where stuff is supposed to be. So for me, I'm sitting going, that's the hate? Okay, that's fine. That's the mission? They're not supposed to be next to each other? I don't know. I don't give. Right now, if you ask me which area in San Francisco is where, I couldn't tell you. I have to look it up on Google Maps.
How long have you lived in the Bay Area?
Almost 10 years.
Damn.
I don't go to San Francisco except to work. So if
I could probably actually be able to do a better job than you. That only because I'm like, on the weeks that I've been there, I have walked all around like that downtown core.
Yeah,
like from the waterfront up over Nob Hill, down into Union Square to Moscone Center, like. I did all sorts to the Presidio. I walked a long ways around that city.
Like the Metreon up into Union, like that, the business district. Yeah, I got you. Get outside of that.
Nope,
not a chance in hell, dude.
And now we're on to our San Francisco geography podcast.
Anyway, so I should play God of War.
You should play God of War. And
speaking, how many total hours do you think it is to? I'm not to like. Do absolutely everything in the game because I know that there's a lot of optional fights in it. How long is it, do you think, just to beat it on a general playthrough?
Just go 20, straight story? Yeah, I would say you could do it in 20 easily.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just going to search on how long to beat, but I'm pretty sure it's 20.
But the flip side of it is you're not going to want to.
I know.
No, you aren't. And I'm seriously, because right now I just want a mainline game so I can be like, I experienced it, I've played it, finished it, move on to the next thing in my backlog. I'm like, no, I'm sinking my fucking what other body part can I mention? Some other body part into this. God damn it.
How Long to Beat has main plus extras 32 hours, completionist 51, but I doubt I'd be a completionist.
But it has main story 20, so
yeah. Somewhere between 20 and 35 for me, probably.
Yeah, I'm already like 20 hours in, and I probably have a third of the story left, so I'm gonna finish around 30, 35. But I'm also kind of going through the Valkyries. Have you done a Valkyrie yet, Travis?
I haven't touched the Valkyries yet. I have been doing everything else except for the Valkyries. So I spent a lot of time going around looking for all the ancients. Looking for all the travelers.
Right.
And then today, Earlier today, when the kids were up during their nap, I went into Nephilim and crafted my Evaldi armor set.
Oh, nice.
Which, the way it made it sound when I was like researching it on what I needed for that armor set, everyone's like, "Oh, this is a real grind." I'm sitting there going, I did the Nephilim tour like 3-4 times, and I had all three armor pieces. I'm sitting going, is it really? Like, it doesn't seem that grindy to me. I can make it a lot grindier if I want to really go balls deep in it, but I don't have
Thank you.
to.
Oh, yes. We've hit the apex of this podcast.
I was going to say that naturally, then as I was about ready to spit it out, I'm going, son of a bitch. He's already said that so many times, but oh well. I'm going to commit to it. But I can see where I can make Nephilim way more grindy than what it is, but to get the armor took me 20 minutes, and I was expecting 3 hours of grinding to get the armor pieces.
Yeah, I feel like the resource farming in the game is not really that grindy, and it could be. I feel like the things pop up when you need them, and I haven't really been at a lack for things. I'm currently crafting all the Traveler armor, and I keep running into the Travelers kind of naturally anyway, so it's fine.
I was seeking them out because I wanted the armor set before I continued the story.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got to the point where I am where I'm thinking I'm getting pretty close to the end of the story. I don't know really, but I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to the end of the story. So I'm sitting going, okay, I don't know if I'm going to have a chance to farm for this stuff. I'm going to go hit the other realms while I have access to them before I inadvertently complete the story and I'm in New Game Plus and can't do it and have to work my way all the way back up to it again.
Are you past the Black Rune?
Yes.
Okay, that's where I'm at now. So you've leapfrogged me at this point.
I've used the Black Rune, and then this did the next section after that. So.
Oh, cool. Okay, so I'm not too far behind you.
And then that's when I stopped and was like, okay, I'm going to go farm my Evaldi armor set before I go any further and get hosed.
So yes, Anthony, play God of War.
Yeah. Clearly.
Let's loop you back into the podcast and ask you what you've been playing this week.
What have I been playing? Animal Crossing, because it's my life, kind of. Not really. I don't play it as much as a lot of other people at work, but it's a great game to play whenever you have people out, like a dozen other people at work playing. So I am just progressing through that, working at getting my concert to happen so I can get credits in the game, and then I'll be able to do more island modification. So, let's see how many hours I've actually played. More than 45 since it came out.
Yeah, it's been what, a month and a half?
At least a month, if not a little bit longer. That seems about right.
The start of isolation, basically.
It was the start of isolation. It was like the week that isolation started.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was March, wasn't it? Like middle.
Yeah, it was the end of March.
Yeah.
We didn't, because we were all getting it. It was the week that we were getting it, and that was the week. It came out on Friday, and the Wednesday before it came out was the day that the office was like, yeah, don't come in anymore. Like, we're all going to go work from home until, who knows how long. We still don't have an answer to that, so that's cool. I've been playing that. I played a bit more Final Fantasy 12. I'm grinding out hunts on the Switch. Still love that game so much. I don't have much more to say. Right? Yeah, my third playthrough.
I've fallen off on the Final Fantasy front, dude. After 10, I stopped. I don't know why.
Huh, you didn't play 15?
No.
Not that that's a high watermark or anything, but
I haven't.
I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the first half.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the
played
second half was
Final Fantasy X
weird.
up until one of the bosses. I can't remember her name, but basically everyone said that she was actually the hardest boss in the entire game, and she wasn't even the final boss. And I hit a wall with her. Yep. Because it's basically she casts death on someone and then casts heal and kills your character instantly. So if you already have you're supposed to have an item on it where you're immune to it, to zombification, to where she just healed your party and then made that thing cakewalk. The problem was when I got to that boss, I was like 4 hours from my previous save.
Yep.
And there was no way to go back, and I'm like, fuck this.
That sucks.
You hit the same point. I didn't hit that point. But I have a unique experience playing 10, because in college, I just set the PS2 over at, Larry, you saw the Sci-Fi House.
Oh, yeah.
So I played main story, but everyone else there played all the side content for me. Like, one of the housemates played 40 hours of Blitzball. So I could get the ultimate Blitzball weapon. Did everything possible with Blitzball while I wasn't there. Someone dodged the 200 lightning bolts to get another ultimate weapon. So I feel like I played it on super easy mode only because everyone else put in tens, if not, like, honestly, probably a lot of other people put in at least 30 to 50 extra hours. Like 3 or 4 other people. Play it. I was like, this is amazing. So I hit those fights and I was like, yep, I have all the stuff needed to get through all this stuff. But like my wife, she hit I think the exact same point that Travis was talking about, and had never went back to the original 10. She played 10-2 and she loves 10-2.
The funny thing is it was like 3 years later I booted the game up randomly. And I walked into that boss not thinking of anything, and I was like, oh, crap. And about 5 minutes into that fight, I remembered, I go, now I remember why I put this down. But then I beat her without the freaking item, without the...
RNG.
I was like, holy crap. I finally beat it. I immediately saved the game, turned it off, and I've never touched it since.
I mean, I've never played 10 since that time. Ever gone back to 10.
And I bought 10-2, never put it in. I bought 12... Never put it in.
That's too bad.
I've
Anthony's heart just broke.
No, well, the other thing is once they started going, when they went to the real-time action fighting, I kind of lost interest. Because the thing that drew me to the original Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy in general was having full control of my party 24/7. It was each fight was a chess match. I had to plan not just this round, but like 4 rounds down the line. And when you take that out of the equation, I'm sitting there going, that was 90% of my enjoyment right there. So now what do you have to offer? Which was part of the reason why I was hesitant with the new Final Fantasy VII Remake. I'm sitting there going, wait, you took that away from me. I don't know. And that's the exact point that I've heard. Is like, oh, it's not fully taken away, but it's sort of, okay.
It's modern. I will say that. It's still a very tactical approach to the combat. Like, once you really get into it and you have a full party, you're like, oh, I see what's going on here. And this is still me switching between characters pretty consistently to spin their ATB gauges as they fill. Like, it's different, but it feels like classic ATB in some ways. Yeah, so I played, what else have I played? I played, for research, I've been playing this game called Scrap Mechanic.
Heard of that. What it sounds like it is?
Kind of. It's what are the tags? What are the tags on Steam?
Now I'm about ready. You're about ready to hear clicking because I'm in Steam, so I'm about ready to start.
It's just research. I mean, I got it from more of a, hey, other people in the office are playing this just to kind of see how they handle things. Astroneer is an open world crafting adventure-ish game, and so this is a popular, new, up-and-coming popular one. And so it's like, what are they doing? What are they doing that's different? I mean, building multiplayer sandbox.
That's on my ignore list on Steam.
Sure. But I've been playing it because they released a survival mode. And I have played like 6 hours, and I've got enough stuff. I built a little car and hooked everything up. Like, you build it block by block. I guess it's similar to like Space Engineers, if anyone's ever played that from years ago. There's just a lot of like, take these blocks, take wheels, take engines, take logic pieces, hook them all together and build vehicles and things. So I don't know if I highly recommend it, but it's been fun for me to kill some hours, like collecting metal, fighting robots to get more metal to build a little car that I can drive around in. So
it's nice when those loops are kind of made fun, so you can kind of, I know you're just kind of whiling away the hours, but making those chore things seem fun is kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I think it's still early access. I bet they'll continue to add more stuff to it. And the way that they managed how you link like bearings and control to your engine and everything is really simple. Like, there's a lot to learn there, and I'm going to probably take a lot of learnings from that going forward. So it's fun to play stuff like that. And then, like I said, I've been playing that and just talking with people in the office about how they handle things. Like, does that mean anything? This has anything to do with Astroneer? No. But it's always good to look at new things in the space that your current game is in and see if there's learnings to be had.
Well, you're having things in the back of your mind that might pop out in kind of surprising ways in the future. So
yeah.
Well, it's also to see if an idea you've had, if they've already implemented, it's like, okay, well, did they do it in a way that actually makes sense and is good, or is this like not going to be a good way to approach it?
Yeah. Right. Or did they do it and you're like, oh, people don't like that. Let's just put that in the backlog. We'll come back to that.
Right.
It's always great when other companies do your research for you.
Right. Stumble for you. That's what fucking Xbox is doing for goddamn.
Oh no, the only thing we can get back to that and go. The only thing that worries me about Sony is Sony's gonna have a stupidly expensive console.
They are.
Well, yeah. They know, but I'm like, please do, because they said $450 or $500. Don't go higher, please.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the funny thing. Microsoft's doing the same fumbles that they did with the Xbox One. Sony looks like they're going to do the same fumbles that they did with the PS2. Because when the PS2 came out, that was ungodly expensive. I think back at the time when it was released, it was almost $500. When they released the PS2, I know it was ungodly expensive, and Microsoft turns around and here like Xbox
360.
Yeah.
Oh no, the original Xbox, not the PS, because the PS3 and the 360 were the competitors.
Yeah, but I just remember the PS2 was ungodly expensive when it was released. Or was it the PS3?
No, it was the PS3. The PS2 was $300.
The PS3 was $600. Yeah.
The PS2 was $300 and was the cheapest Blu-ray player you could get on the market.
That's right. And then there was a PS3 that was like $500, and the 360 was
$600.
$500 was nice. The launch edition of the PS3 was $600.
Yeah.
Yep. And that killed it.
And then they quickly came out with a $500 version.
But by then they'd already lost.
And then they made the slim PS3. Is when they finally cut it to a price that people would start buying it.
Well, on end of generation, they finally caught up, or even I think they
did.
But
they did.
Yeah.
They at the end of the generation. It's very likely that Microsoft is also going to charge $450 or $500 for the Series X as well.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get
just because of the hardware that they're putting in there. I'm like, both of these consoles are putting in.
Yeah.
Spending a lot of money on their hardware this time. So
it'll be interesting to see, but this is the thing that no one's ever asked me, especially with this current console generation, is like, oh, should I get an Xbox or a PlayStation? And my answer to the people has always been the same. It's you gotta look at two things. Do console exclusives matter to you? If they do, then you go with a system that has the exclusives that you want. If it doesn't, you look at who you have the most friends playing on, because that's where you're probably going to end up being. Beyond that, the systems are pretty much the same, as far as I'm concerned. The next generation, again, the consoles are pretty much going to be the same. It's flushing out that way. It's going to boil down to exclusivities again. And Microsoft's been buying up studios, and this is what I said earlier. They didn't show us any of that stuff.
They need to show people why they want their console.
Yep.
Right now, Sony's got a huge leg up on them between all the exclusives that they already have with God of War, Horizon, the Marvel Spider-Man, freaking Bloodborne, all these other things that they have that have been game of the years or at least contenders for them throughout this entire generation. Sony owns all that. They've got that. Microsoft has nothing in that area.
Halo 5, that's about it.
But Halo, no. I mean, Halo and Gears of War, okay. But they're the same thing that we've been having since Bungie first released Halo on the original Xbox.
Yeah, I feel like the new Halo is going to be different, but yeah, the rest have been iterations of the same.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is a knock on 343 Studios or whatever. I'm not
Honestly,
saying that
they just played it safe after
Mm-hmm.
and
after the split with Bungie.
And you can't blame them.
And they're like, I mean, they didn't. That was not the time that they were willing to risk. And I don't know if they get how much they get to risk this time. Hopefully they get to show some of their chops. But
at some point they got to flex because
this is the time.
Yeah,
this is definitely the time because Bungie has gone on and created Destiny, which for all its faults, it's still a really good game.
It is really good. They don't.
Great gunplay.
That's been Bungie's claim to fame since that's what made the original Halo so good. Is that each gun felt unique and viable.
Right.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't one gun that. Well, okay, that's not true. The pistol did outshine just about everything. Let's be fair. But that's just because it had a freaking zoom factor in it when you aim down sights, which that shouldn't have happened. But that's neither here nor there. Each gun felt good, and that's still the same to this day in Destiny. Each gun feels different and unique. Whether or not it has a place in the game or not, totally different discussion.
Yeah, but no, they know how to do their gunplay and make it feel really good. Yeah, I'm hoping that Microsoft has. I think the next thing they should have something in June. I think they said they're going to be doing these every month.
Monthly, exactly.
So I assume the June one is going to be the first party stuff. It's going to be Halo and whatever else that they have first party wise. Oh, sorry. The other third party that was really weird that it wasn't there was Cyberpunk.
Oh, right. Oh, because they're doing their own thing in June, right?
I guess so, but I'm like, they've been on stage on Microsoft's E3 stage and E3 presentation as a big third party game that's being co-marketed there. And they're just not in this.
It makes even less sense once you realize that there is also a co-branded Xbox exclusive for Cyberpunk.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I'm just like, what the hell, guys? Like, this is.
I feel like it's like a Ubisoft thing where like Ubisoft kind of shot their wad with Valhalla ahead of the Xbox thing, so it didn't hit as well. Maybe Cyberpunk's like, no, we want to control this message. We'll put you on our stage. We'll put ours on your stage after we announce our shit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Their shit's already been announced. Like everyone.
No, I know, but like whatever is going to be in a new thing from Cyberpunk in June is going to be something new we haven't seen before.
Being able to edit your genitalia.
Oh god, that was.
Oh fuck yeah, that's right.
I don't know.
I was like, I mean, sure. They're really going with the cyberpunk aspects and the tabletop RPG aspects of that because there are some of the tabletop RPG books that have genital modification stuff on there.
Yeah,
and they're like, I guess everything's fair game.
I can definitely make my character get balls deep.
It's true.
Yeah,
I think
nailed it.
What was that? Someone pointed out Saints Row did it first.
Oh, that's right, they did. Hey, whatever floats your boat, man.
Yeah.
For me, other things I've been playing this week, just get back to that. Wind Waker, still playing with my daughter. We have just got back to, we saved Grandma with a fairy, and we're about to go get the third pearl. And my daughter's just obsessed. She will just play, act, pretend Wind Waker. She's got Baby Link amiibo. She is just, we've made a boomerang. We've made a hook shot. We made a fucking telescope. We just got bombs, so we're gonna make bombs. She's just like wanting to make the tools to like play the game when we're not playing the game. And then I started Animal Crossing because I just finally gave in to the zeitgeist, and I'm trying to get through the tutorial, quote unquote, so that I can have a place where my daughter can kind of like experience the game, or my wife even, who asks about this game quite a bit. But Jesus Christ, the tutorial in that game, tutorial quote unquote, is fucking forever.
At least it's not a 3-hour movie.
It's not.
I guess
I
it's
mean,
true.
You just do a little bit each day, and you get new stuff the next day.
Yep, exactly. So I want to get to the point where it's kind of like opened up more, so that she can kind of see what she wants to do, and kind of we can choose anything as opposed to things being gated off. Like right now, I know that she'll get to the river on my property or whatever and want to go across the river, and I can't.
Nope.
I need to get the pole to hop over the water or whatever. So eventually, but that's all I've been playing. Anything else for you, Travis, besides God of War?
Destiny. I still play Destiny 2.
That's true. I saw you loading up. Are you doing like raids? Or are you doing strikes? What are you doing?
They're doing the stupid Guardian Games thing, where they're pitting the Hunters versus the Warlocks versus the Titans. I do that somewhat, but Bungie, they need to learn what people like about their games. It's kind of interesting. We're talking so highly of Bungie, and then seeing what they're doing with Destiny. Say, at some point in time, you wonder if devs actually play their own game and realize that what they're trying to have the population do is not fun.
Right, exactly.
It's interesting because they're like, oh, we play this game too, and then they'll release a patch and it takes the community 5 minutes to be like, really? This game is busted to high hell, like literally busted. And then Bungie will sit there and go, oh, we didn't think you would do that. We just shot the damn thing on the ground. Like, seriously, that's all we had to do. So it's just kind of interesting to see some of the things that come out. And it makes you wonder. And the Guardian Games is another one of the
situations.
Do they
have a big beta program at all for their patches? I mean, that's one of the reasons. Like, a lot of these games that have that stuff have, I would say, the ones that don't have beta realms or a beta system that have wider audience participation tend to have bugs in the real launch, because there are so many variations and iterations of how people are going to approach the content. You can't plan for all of it.
Yeah.
And it's not the only game that does this too. There's a couple other ones out there that are these reoccurring live games that they're like, we're not going to have test realms or anything. And they're like, well, you consistently have problems because of it. Sorry.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, my background being with World of Warcraft and EverQuest before, there were test realms.
And people learn the content from there. I'm like, that's always the argument that I hear from these studios is like, well, we don't want people to know what's coming earlier, or like figure out the strats to get through X, Y, and Z or whatnot. I'm like,
you could do a test realm or a beta version of it where it has the mechanics in it, but not the story or the new worlds. So like, I could see that argument from Bungie be like, oh, we don't want people to unlock the story before it happens. Well, there's two things wrong with it. A, data miners 9 times out of 10 pull the shit out a month before it's even there. But B, you can block that off. You can make it to where it's inaccessible. You can just say, hey, let's put the mechanics of how the guns work and how the armor works, how the ability works in the game as is currently in a beta world, and not put all the new content into it. Because like one gun that they have the biggest problem with is the Telesto, which has been in it since D1, for crying out loud. So it's not like this is their first rodeo with this gun. It's not like it's the community's first rodeo with this gun. But when you pair it with when they put in the new subclasses, people found out very easily that warlocks could use a Telesto to get a super inside of 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So they're going to the Crucible, and the match starts, and next thing you know, you're getting blasted by a warlock with their super ability. You're like going, wait a second, dude. We're 20 seconds into the match. This is physically impossible. And then you walk the corner, and there's that warlock again with a super again. You're like, what the hell? And Bungie's sitting there going, oh, we have to disable the gun from the system. It's like, if you had... And that's why I said, do you even play your game? Because it took the community... This was happening within 10 minutes of the patch going live, for crying out loud. And it took...
that happens.
Yeah,
because the internal thing is the fact that they do play the game, but it's almost impossible for devs and people who make the game, and even the QA there, to completely turn their brains off on the way that things are supposed to work. And they even unintentionally play the game as, oh yeah, this is how it's supposed to work, so let me play it that way.
Yeah.
And
that was my assumption.
You need those fresh eyes on this stuff all the time to be like, well, what happens if you decide to go left instead of right?
Right. And it's just interesting to see, because it happens just about every...
Oh, I'm sure.
There's 3 exotics in the game that continue to get disabled to where you can't even equip them. So the other day I was playing, and I got the new Fellwinter's helmet for the Warlock, and it's grayed out the second I get it. I'm sitting there going, wait, I can't even equip it. And I remembered that there was something in the notes where they had disabled the armor piece completely because it was unintendedly giving people their super and their ability powers much more like much quicker than intended. Like it was activating on stuff that wasn't supposed to activate on at all.
Yeah.
And that one bugs me a little bit more because it was activating on things that you just do. You weren't doing anything special. Like literally, it was you threw a grenade and it wasn't supposed to activate, but it did activate. And I'm sitting there going, okay, that one couldn't have missed.
Someone checked in code late.
Yeah,
that had nothing to do with that piece and unintentionally caused havoc to that piece.
Like the Telesta one, I kind of get a little bit more because I'm sure as a dev, you're sitting there like, oh, I'm supposed to shoot the enemy with it, not shoot the ground in front of me and then stand over and blow it up on myself, which is what the community did within 10 minutes of it being released.
Or like crowdsourcing QR, right? It's like you have millions of people doing more testing in 10 minutes than you can in your whole team. So
that's totally what's happening, and that's why a lot of these games that are live, like public test environments, are a very worthwhile thing.
Oh,
and so I wish a lot of these companies would do more of that instead of emergency patching afterwards.
Well,
I feel like the first 10 minutes of this podcast was the test realm for our podcast. It went pretty well.
I mean, it's also kind of goes to the thing of, I mean, World of War, Blizzard's been doing it. It's free beta, it's free QA testing. Because the community will jump on it in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And they will find all the goddamn bugs.
Oh, there was things that we were doing on World of Warcraft, like glitching through and finding entire areas in that game that the devs, there was a way to glitch into the actual the admin's world. So basically all the avatars for all the admins that are in the worlds, they had their own little area that was only could be accessed for them, but you could glitch into it. And so that you would see just normal everyday players in with all the freaking admins, and you're sitting there, like, literally you would see the video where someone would glitch into it, and then the avatars for all the admins would turn and look like, what the hell? You're not supposed to be here. What's going on? And then that video got out, and the next thing you know, that place got inundated with tons of freaking people, so they had to actually patch it. But it's stuff like that the devs are never going to figure out. They're not going to try and break the system because that's not what they're designed. That's not how they're programmed. As a player, my goal is to break the game. Period. Because I'm looking for an edge. So I'm going to try everything I can to break the game to where I get a better edge, especially in a game that has PvP in it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyways. Totally.
Well, I think that what we should do is spin off and have a Destiny podcast.
No, that was when the last time we had a call was talking about Destiny 1 3 years ago. My God.
And I feel like if you go back over 272 podcasts, the games that we've talked about the most, Destiny, Final Fantasy 12, Uncharted 2 probably.
I mean, look at the games that have stood the test of time. Like Final Fantasy it's evolved, but that game started back in the 80s, still making the series to this day.
Oh yeah.
Look at, Bungie started off with Halo, went on to Destiny in 2013, still holding strong to this day. So there's a lot of games that you look at the studios and go, okay, they figured out how to keep people interested in the game.
Right, and evolved it in a way that's engaging.
And which is no small feat.
No, of course not.
Not at all.
Speaking of engaging games, I'm going to give you guys a choice here. I've got two games to give away. One is Battle Chasers Night War, which is a pretty rad RPG, and then Exapunks, which is the tagline is read zines, write viruses, and hack everything.
Oh, right, yeah.
So which one shall I give away to our audience here?
I don't know either one of them. But
oh man, you should check out. You would like Night War.
Yeah.
Give them Night War? Okay.
Yeah.
So if you are, let's see here. Let me not fuck this up. Want Night War, Battle Chasers Night War for Steam. It's NR0XF RN5DF QKNA5. Fucking saw Travis log on to Steam as I was reading that.
I'm looking this up, dude. I'm like, what is this?
Quick, put it in your Steam before Travis does.
I won't. I'm not that. I'm shiesty, but I'm not that shiesty. Come on.
Right, let me try this again. NR0XF RN5DF QKNA5. So that's Battle Chasers Night War on Steam. Travis, thanks so much for being with us tonight.
Anytime.
I'm sure I'll see you on God of War in about 20 minutes. Anthony, thanks for being here as you are every night.
Yes, every night.
Every night?
Every Sunday night, I should say. when Skype is working.
Hey, this is fun. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Oh, you're welcome to come back, man.
Hey, anytime. Kids go to bed around 8:30 every night, so I'm more than happy to join whenever.
Sounds good. All right, folks. Thanks for listening to episode 272 of Prof and Dev Play Games. We will see you next week, where we will talk about some PS4 release news. I don't
probably not.
No. Damn it! You're popping my bubble, bursting my bubble. All right, folks. I'll see you next week.
Later.